All right, as mentioned earlier on, the Joburg Council in Fundo, there's some developments.
Yes, let's take you there and listen in.
The total valid votes were 249. There was one cancelled ballot, and all the party agents signed. The results are as follows. Councillor Belinda Cynthia Ezenzonjoku is 60. Councillor Silo Enoch. Councillor Silo Enoch Morero is 189. Councillors, can I declare Councillor Silo Enoch Morero as the elected mayor of COJ? Councillors.
And the live visuals there from the Joburg Council, 249 valid votes, one cancelled. And of course, that makes Dada Morero the mayor of Johannesburg with 189 of those 249 votes. And Belinda Echezonzoku from the Democratic Alliance, they're bagging 60.
No, as was expected by a number of people, he has been elected now following that those specific proceedings in the council. The ANC's preferred candidate, he was the candidate that was preferred back then when he took over, and now it was just for 25 days back then, and he's back again. As you can see, he's there flanked by Kabelo Kwamanda, as well as another Al-Jamaa leader there, Tapelo Ahmad, who was also mayor for a short stint. He's also been congratulated by Patriotic Alliance's Kenny Kunene, we saw him a bit earlier. So most certainly being a candidate that is also endorsed by the government of local unity. All members there seem to be in agreement that he be the man to take to the helm.
And it's going to be an interesting one, especially because now you are expecting, when he chooses his mayoral committee, to see who is going to then make the cut. And it is expected that Kabelo Kwamanda there, who's the former mayor, will possibly join the mayoral committee. And then it's interesting again, the position of the speaker. What happens with that particular position? Because
I was just looking at Margaret Arnold there, and she seems to be running the house fairly well. But as we know, some of the conditions that came with the Action SA's support was that possibly they would get that council speaker. So possibly we could see a lot of changes. We spoke to T.K. Ngiza earlier this week, and he was saying there could be some changes. So that says to us possibly there will be significant changes. You have EFF members there, MMCs, you have Ngqini, who's part of the mayoral committee. Will we see changes in the EFF? We're already speaking of the EFF. We're seeing them coming to embrace and congratulate Dada Morero. Most certainly indication that the government of local unity is stable.
And earlier on, a conversation you had with Wayne Duvenage from Outer, saying that he does not believe this is the man for the job. And you'd remember even civil society in Fundo, in the lead up to this particular moment, yes, they were calling for Kabelo Kwamanda's head, but at the same time, they were painting a picture of a Johannesburg that needs some serious action when it comes to being turned around, because a lot of concern about this city, which some say is a world-class African city.
A world-class African city, but many have complained of crumbling infrastructure, You've got inconsistent water supply. We're even being told of a looming water crisis in Johannesburg. You've also got high electricity tariffs. So as he takes on this very hot seat, we know that we've seen a revolving door when it comes to the mayors in Johannesburg. It's a very important seat, but one that many seem to fail to stay on for quite long enough. So it will be quite important to see if he can address some of these key issues that Joburg residents have had to contend with.
And one of the issues that Joburg residents are contending with is the issue of load reduction. This is something that has become such a thorn in their flesh because they talk about infrastructure that is overburdened. And as they say, those who are paying are now impacted the same way as those who are not paying. Illegal connections as well, another big issue in the city of Johannesburg. How do you deal with the issue of revenue collection as well? Because at the same time, you've now introduced this 230 odd surcharge on electricity on residents who are telling you that the cost of living is simply unaffordable.
Indeed, a lot of problems that will need to be addressed. We actually have Outer's Wayne Duvenage back on the line just to share his reaction now following what he had stated was highly likely that it would have happened, that you would have seen Dada Morero being elected. Good evening yet again, Wayne. Your reaction to this development now?
Yeah, look, we're not surprised it was coming. And I think the discussions you're having now are very, very pertinent. You know, for instance, load reduction is a matter that is related to vandalism, is related to illegal connections. We've seen the city not doing enough in that regard. And, you know, hopefully Dada Morero is going to have listened. And he has an opportunity now to lead and to lead properly. And as I said earlier, to engage with civil society. You know, one of the offerings we made to the City Power people was to help them with vandalism by getting resident associations armed responses to react to and put cameras onto all the substations where we can. That way we could assist the city without any cost to the city. Now, you'd imagine they would jump at that offer. They didn't. So it's sad that they don't, but let's see. Maybe he will start heeding the call and realizing that civil society has got solutions. We want to work with the city, but again, you know, he has shown no initiative to open the doors to us.
Beyond extending perhaps that invitation to Outer to work with the city, what are the list of priorities now? Because earlier on we were speaking, before we really had certainty as to whether it would be him, now that we know it's Dada Morero, list of priorities.
Well, first of all, get the city back to work, get them back into the Civic Administration Centre. We know over a year ago there was a fire, there was a little bit of attention required and a slab that needed strengthening. We don't see any movement in that regard. And it's very difficult to work with the city to deal with billing inquiries, to deal with development matters. Architects need to meet with people in the offices and people aren't just there. So get people back into the office. Secondly, deal with the illegal connections, deal with the revenue collection, deal with the maladministration, hold people to account who are already in many reports known to be wanting. If you're not going to hold people to account to deliver on the services, well, then you're going to lose the faith and the trust of the citizens in this mayor. And he's got just over 2 years. So
Wayne, pardon me for interjecting there. We just want to take our audience back to proceedings. They will believe that Dada Morero will address the House in just a bit. Let's listen in and come back and address it.
Colleagues, can we cut it just there? Colleagues, can we cut it just there? Thank you so much. You have beautiful voices.
Okay. Thank you, Speaker. Without wasting any time, I am going to call upon the newly elected mayor to come to the front, please. Okay. I am now going to administer the oath as required by law. Will you please say after me, I, Sello Enoch Morero,
I, Sello Enoch Morero,
swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa
swear that I will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa
and will obey,
and will obey,
respect,
respect,
and uphold the Constitution and all other laws of the Republic.
and uphold the Constitution and all other laws of the Republic.
And I swear to perform my functions as a member of the Mayoral Executive Committee of the City of Johannesburg Metropolitan Municipality to the best of my ability.
And I swear to perform my functions as a member of the Mayoral Committee of the City of Johannesburg Metropolitan Municipality to the best of my ability.
Now, before administering the oath, do you confirm that I swear that the contents of this declaration are true. Raise up your right hand, say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Before you sign, do you confirm and know and understand the contents of this declaration? Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any objection to taking the prescribed oath?
No.
Do you consider the prescribed oath to be binding on your conscience?
Yes.
Raise up your right hand and say, help me God.
Help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations.
And can we ask the media to come down for some pictures?
Not now.
Speaker. Yeah, you can sign now.
Johannesburg City Council Dada Morero just concluding his oath there. As you can see, he's signing, and soon the media will be allowed the opportunity to take images. Dada Morero was, of course, the preferred candidate, only nominee for the African National Congress. Wayne Duvenage is still standing by to continue our conversation. Thank you, Wayne, for your indulgence. You saw there, he's just taken his oath. We're expecting at least for him to address and talk about the priorities. And you are still listing those that you believe are important for him as a start now. We also still have a finance crisis within the city.
Yeah, we do. We certainly do. And, you know, we spoke a bit earlier on about the 2.5 billion, and it was necessary. It was they were in a desperate situation. Of course, you know, getting those funds helps us for a while, but it's not going to help us for a long time if we don't address the mess, address the waste. And so priorities now, we believe, should be for the mayor to go and do this, what we call zero-based budgeting. Have a look at where the waste is happening. We can assist, we can show where we believe a lot of waste is happening and deal with that. It's like a business, it's like a household. If you are in debt and you are struggling to make ends meet, you need to cut your cloth as a city. We need to become this world-class city, which we are not, by the way, not by a long way. And this should be a vibrant city. We should see our property values growing. And so there's a lot of work to get back to the basics, I think. But yeah, the priorities are just get this debt right, get the income correct.
I want to tackle just a bit further,
wasted.
pardon me for interjecting there, just to take you back to the zero-based budgeting that you speak of. One just assumes there would be opposition from certain quarters, because if you're going to reduce the social spending or any kind of spending, you're going to have some sort of opposition. So how can you go about tackling that?
Well, the only opposition you'd have in a zero-based budget is where the waste is happening, is where there's corruption, where there's maladministration. So, for instance, what happens normally in cities and municipalities for years and years and years, you'll have suppliers. They'll keep putting on increases at CPI, sometimes above CPI. And what you'll find is that you're not getting the value for money. If you re-look at all of those contracts, from waste removal, from repairs and maintenance, systems controls. There's so many areas where contracts just exist and are never questioned. Zero-based budgeting helps you to look at that. Look at where you have manpower that you do not need manpower anymore. You have to cut your cloth to manage the city properly. You've got contractors, you've got outsourced so much of your work as a municipality.
All right, Wayne, I believe, pardon me yet again, I believe the mayor is now on the podium, just about to take us through his priorities. Let's listen in.
Dunga, the provincial chair of the EFF, Mushe Koma, the secretary of the EFF, Aldama Ngomese, the IFP provincial leader, Nongleba Mazibugo, the former speaker of council, Herman Mashaba of Action SA, president and former executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Funzi Ngobeni, Action SA provincial chair, Matshidiso Mfikwe, the ANC Gauteng MPL, Mbali Hlophe, ANC Gauteng MPL, Solomon Msimango, the DA provincial leader, Solim Kize, PA provincial secretary, Herman Radali, the Progressive Professionals chairperson. Fellow councillors, Dumelang, greetings to the administrative leadership of the city, fellow Jobekers, Molweni, hello, Sanibonani, Dumelang, hello, Jobekers. As we extend the 25 days, I want to say the following. Agahlulwa lutho Jesu. Agahlulwa lutho. Agahlulwa lutho Jesu. Agahlulwa lo denze baba ndikusebenzile ndis semhlabeni. I should have done this during my first acceptance speech in September 2022. Maybe I would have stayed longer than the 25 days. Allow me to acknowledge the former executive mayors, including those that are late. Councillor Jeff Makubo, Councillor Jolie D. Matongo, Councillor Mphomo Erani. May their soul continue to rest in peace. Madam Speaker, umoya wami uyavuma. Ngamhlanje umoya wami uyavuma. Sizayiqhuba le nqola until 2026. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge and appreciate the beautiful contest we have had with the most beautiful lady amongst ourselves in the chamber, Councillor Belinda. We had a very beautiful contest, and thank you very much. To the people of South Africa, as guided by our Constitution, Act 108 of 1996, let us remember that we are the people of South Africa. We must continuously recognize the injustice of our past. We must honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land. We must respect those who have worked to build and develop our country. We must believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. We are united in our diversity. The residents of Johannesburg, we must remember that we are winners. We are winners because many people want to live in our beautiful city. We are winners because we love Johannesburg. It is the place we call home. It is our first love, Councillor Marum. Fellow councillors, let us pause and reset. Reset does not mean we start from scratch. It means we acknowledge our mistakes and we must apologize where we have failed the people of Johannesburg. It also means that we must celebrate our good story, and indeed, we do have a good story to tell. The people of Johannesburg task us with basic duties of making sure that the following happens. 1, water comes out of their taps, lights come on, waste is collected, robots or traffic lights work, buses operate efficiently, people live in safe communities. This is not too much to ask for. The people of Johannesburg are depending on us for a better future. We have all gone through pain and sorrow, but you are wiser and stronger now. We must help the city to move beyond its complex challenges and find simple solutions that remind the people of Johannesburg why Johannesburg will always remain our first love. Please allow me to talk about 2024 moment. This is a significant moment for all South Africans. It is the moment where all South Africans interface with our democratic political system. This interaction resulted in a strong message that symbolized destruction and unity. The signal changed our political landscape. Today marks the realignment of the government of local unity. We cannot ignore elections outcomes. We are public servants and we must listen to the voice or the silence of the people we serve. Mao Zedong, in his book, In the Art of War, presents us with this warrior philosophy that states, I quote, "Generals are assistants of the nation. When the assistance is complete, the country is strong. When the assistance is defective, the country is weak," close quote. Like generals, politicians are assistants of the nation. Our conduct determines the strength of our nation. The 2024 moment calls for a reset. Johannesburg is the heartbeat of South Africa. To keep South Africa alive, we must implement the district development model. Alone, we will not solve problems affecting Johannesburg. We therefore call upon the provincial government to help us to implement our service delivery programs that changes lives. We call upon national government to effectively utilize Section 154 of the Constitution. Policy, planning and coordination is critical to the success of Johannesburg. The National Department of Corporate Governance, supported by the South African Local Government Association, shaped our private sector framework. Therefore, this relationship is assisting us to address our technical challenges. We must accelerate implementation. Business and civil society are central to our development agenda. Without them, economic growth will not happen in Johannesburg. Growing the economy in Johannesburg must happen within the context of the district development model. As a minimum program for all of us, we must use the 2024-2025 financial year to stabilize local government and our city. By doing this, our economy will grow faster, Young people will be in jobs, basic services will be enjoyed by all, and transformation will happen at a fast pace. Madam Speaker, please allow me to repeat. The 2024 moment requires us to listen. We are the sphere of government that is closest to the people. We must plan with our communities. This constitutional responsibility requires of all of us to move together. Our leadership change since 2016 has been very destructive and cannot be continued on this disruptive path. Cities are meant to be developmental, resilient, and sustainable because they shape the form of societies. To the media, we do not talk enough about the formation of Johannesburg. When Johannesburg was formed, the apartheid government deliberately built a spatial design that was not inclusive. When democratic local government happened in Johannesburg, we tried to break this pattern. Our land space is amongst the smallest in South Africa, and our population is the biggest, and it will continue to grow. We must rise above our day-to-day challenges so that we can reimagine a Johannesburg that is inclusive, colorful, and full of love. The Joburg 2040 was supported by all, including all political parties. Therefore, our part remains. We must continue to make Johannesburg a world-class African city of the future. Our city must remain vibrant, equitable, and it must be strengthened through diversity. Fellow residents of Johannesburg, I think it is okay to continue where we left off. Collectively, we started implementing our energy sustainability strategy that tried to ensure the delivery of conventional power and integrate new distributed energies. We believe that these positive steps will continue to be supported and give the city the ability to generate energy. We agreed, of course, to keep the city clean. This meant making city functional by keeping lights on, improving uninterrupted mobility, and protecting the environment by implementing programs that focus on litter picking, clearing illegal dumping, grass cutting, recycling program, and wetland maintenance and pollution prevention. Madam Speaker, to the administration, Council entrusted with a fully funded integrated development plan worth 83.1 billion. Your task is simple, and please do not fail us. We want to see a better Johannesburg. Madam Speaker, time is not our side. Time is not on our side. Consultations are currently underway, and I promise not to delay the announcement of the mayoral committee. Good women and men will be deployed, and these men and women must assist us to reset and build our colorful city. Madam Speaker, allow me therefore to announce the executive of this city. Community Development, Councillor Kabelo Kwamanda. Development Planning, Councillor Eunice Mgcina. Economic Development, Councillor Nomoya Mnisi. Environment, Infrastructure and Service Delivery, Councillor Jack Squaila. Group Corporate and Shared Services, Councillor Loiso Masuku. Group Finance, Councillor Margaret Arnolds. Health and Social Development, Councillor Eni Makafula. Human Settlement, Councillor Mlungisi Mabaso. Public Safety, Councillor Mgcini Chwaku. Transport, Councillor Kenny Kunene. Fellow South Africans, as I conclude, let us reflect on the statement made by our President. during his opening of Parliament address on the 18th of July 2024. President Ramaphosa said, I quote, "For our largest metros and to our deepest rural areas, we have a clear intention to turn our country into a construction site. As roads, bridges, houses, schools, hospitals, clinics are built, as broadband fiber is laid, and as new power lines are installed," close quote. Let us all take out our phones and tell the world that Johannesburg is now a construction site. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I hope you will do the next program and we can conclude with the inauguration and swearing in of our MMCs. Thank you.
All right, that concludes Dada Morero, Mayor, newly signed, or pardon me for interjecting there. I believe we have Wayne Duvenage on the line, still with us. Wayne, you've just heard there the new mayor stating that Johannesburg is now officially a construction site. Your take on his address?
Yeah, look, a lot of good words said. It does come down to implementation and service delivery. I mean, we are far from the world-class city that we keep speaking of, or they keep referring to. We're a city in decay. A lot of construction is needed, but this is not unknown to the city and to Dada Morero and others. Kenny Kunene, who's still in the roads and transport charge of that sector. They know that there's about 25% of the bridges are in extremely unsafe situation in Johannesburg. They're not doing anything about it. They have a budget to resurface 100 kilometers. There's 14,000 kilometers in the city of Joburg. And they removed the acting CEO who was getting in the way of corruption on trumped-up charges. These are the concerns that we've got. So a lot of good words spoken, but where's the service delivery? Where's the reality, and where's the accountability for all the mismanagement and maladministration that continues to take place? We want to see that happening before we start believing that they're going to turn the city around.
I do want to delve deeper into the MMCs, but before that, his statement around what this moment means insofar as the electoral outcomes. It seems as though there's a mayor now who acknowledges that the message from the electorate was not just for national or provincial government, but it also was for local government, that here they are the ones that interact the most with ordinary citizens, and he says they've heard that message loud and clear. Just your views on his acknowledging that the electoral outcomes have a far-reaching consequence or also impact them, and is a message to them to act better.
Yes, we hope so. You know, these elections, though, took place over 2 years ago, just over 2 years to go to the next ones. And what you have is our politicians inside the city who have been changing the mayor's situation because they form new coalitions, and that's what we've had. So this is the 9th mayor in as many years. That it doesn't bode well for stability, so he might be the mayor for the next 2 years. Then what's going to happen in 2026? I hope that he's going to be able to display to the next election and the public that he's fit to stand office, or that the ANC is, because he's their candidate. As we know, the ANC has lost a lot of votes in the last national and provincial elections. They will probably, unless they really turn things around, lose a lot of votes in the next local elections. And the dynamic of the coalition then might be very different to what it is now. And we'll probably have another mayor. And that doesn't bode well, again, for this continuity of visionary leadership that's going to take the city forward. So a lot of good stuff is said. Now the proof is in the pudding. He has to start delivering. He's got 2 years and he needs to do it quickly. It's not something you can do overnight, by the way, but at least there needs to be strong signals that he's dealing with the debt, dealing with illegal connections, and dealing with water crisis and so on. All
right, Wayne, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's Outer's Wayne Duvenage speaking to us.